Hello, welcome to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host, Iggy. Yay. Thank you for that. Okay, guys, we have three different things to unpack here tonight. So let's just jump right in and get started. On the top shelf, we have an M3 American half-track, complete with two 30 caliber machine guns and a 50 caliber machine gun. On the second shelf, we have Airfix, well, actually Chinese knockoffs of Airfix and Marx, cast in khaki so that they would match the Airfix figures. And then we have a German medic team, or what they would call a Sanitat. And this is by CTS. In fact, I think if you look underneath, let's do that now, see what it says here. And I always put them upside down, don't I? No, I'm upside down again. Made in China, CTS. Does it give a year? 2012. It's a very nice set, by the way, guys. So let's start off with that. And it shows two men with a litter. Is that what they called it, a litter? I know that's what the cat calls it, but I'm not sure. Oh, gosh. And I'm not sure if this guy's a non-combatant because he's got a Mauser 98K stuck on his back. This one here is more of a non-combatant and because he's unarmed, obviously. And this poor fella who's taking a nap here doesn't look like he feels very well. And here's one carrying a stretcher, and you'll notice that he's got the Red Cross on his helmet. The Germans would paint their helmets white and then with a Red Cross, whereas the Americans had an olive drab helmet with a Red Cross, or with a white circle with a Red Cross. Let's check if he has all his gear. He's got two water bottles. That's a nice touch. Good detail. He's got what appears to be a medic bag. And he's got two pouches on his belt. And this poor fella has been wounded. He looks like he's grasping his rear, so apparently he's been wounded in the buttocks. He looks embarrassed, doesn't he? You know, I got stabbed in the butt with a pencil when I was a kid, and I gotta tell you, it hurts pretty bad. What happened is I stood up and to stretch, and the guy sitting next to me, his name was Donald. I still remember his name. He stretched at the same time, but he had a freshly sharpened pencil in his hand, and he brought his hand back like this with the pencil, and it was where my chair was, and I sat back down on it. And as far as I know, the lead is still in my buttocks all these years later. I did see him 10 years after that happened at Pierce College. He was registering for a class. I'm not sure. I don't think he recognized me. I'm glad, because I don't want to get stabbed in the buttocks again. And these two guys, uh-oh. All right, you clowns. Time to get up. Come on, let's go. Move it. I guess not. I guess they're dead. Now, the interesting thing about these guys is they look like Frankenstein. Let me pull one up here so you can get a good look at his face. I don't know if that was deliberate. See, it's blurring out. Well, I guess you'll just have to take my word for it that he looks like Frankenstein. Now, these figures on the bottom shelf are all Marx reproductions, and it's of their regular German infantry. However, they're done in a khaki color, of course. And this fella here is holding what appears to be an M41 Mauser rifle. However, the bayonet, is that supposed to be a bayonet or a cigar on the end of his rifle there? It's pretty sad looking bayonet. I'm not sure why Marx did that. Their helmets look almost closely like an M1 American helmet if you look at them. See that? It looks like an M1. Now, a much better job is these Airfix figures here. Now, with Chinese knockoffs, you never really know who's producing them, but in this case, they came in this package here, and it says that these are distributed by a hobby shop by the name of Stevens International in New Jersey. And it shows what Chinese province or in what city it was made in. So that's details that are not normally given. It says that it actually gives a date of when they were manufactured, April 30th, 2018. So I guess these sat on the shelf for a little while. But I thought that was interesting, and the packaging looks like it's inspired by Airfix. A couple of my favorite figures are the officer here and this guy tossing the potato masher, as we Americans call it. And this one here. Those were my three favorites when I was a kid. Let's take a look at his equipment and see what we got there. So as a combat harness, he has a water bottle, a gas mask, e-tool and bayonet, and cartridge pouches, ammunition pouches, I guess you call them. Patronen is the German word for ammunition. Sounds Italian, is Patronen. Hey, welcome to Patronen's Pizza. What's the matter, you? Papa, Fallschirmjäger in the vineyard. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so we often associate this color with Afrika Korps, but I want to show you something that you'll find interesting and probably already know yourself. Their color uniforms are actually this greenish shade. And this guy looks like a young Patrick Stewart. Make it so, number one. What, you want me to go number one? Oh, shut up, you. So it's this sort of green color. And let's take a look at this book here. You get an idea of that shade of green. He's got a shell. There's a shell in this basket. They use that for shipping, keep them safe. You see that? It's that green color. Now, the reason why we think it was khaki is because when you use black and white film to photograph these guys, the color comes out looking more like this. This was a special uniform that Rommel had made for him, not himself personally, but for himself. Let's see what it would. And there's also something here that I find interesting, although this is for the Balkans and not for the European theater per se, such as these guys here. But here is a medical, not an officer. He's called an Unterarzt. Unterarzt from a Sanitatskompanie in Greece. And you can see his bag, and he's got an armband. Gosh, he's got him wearing a tie. He's very nappy. Which reminds me, Iggy took a nap, and last night I went to bed at 1 in the morning, and I didn't get up till 12 in the afternoon. And I looked at my watch, and I thought, that can't be right. So I lost half the day sleeping. That's kind of scary. I don't like doing that. Anyway, let's take a look at the M3 half track here. I've seen some of these in person. I went to Camp Blanding in Florida. It's where they used to have the Florida National Guard, and they also trained units there and stationed them there prior to being shipped to England for the invasion of France. And they had a bunch of vehicles there, and one of them being this one here, the M3. They had an M5 with the quad gun, the four, although they didn't have the machine guns on it, though. The 50 cals, they had removed those. The poor vehicles are in very bad shape. It really makes me sad to see that. But they're outdoors, and so they're starting to rust away. Let's see if we can find it. Here's one in action. And here is a photograph of one. And it weighed 10 tons. Had a range of 195 miles. And it had a road speed of 45 miles per hour. And it was armed with a 50 caliber and two 30 calibers. Its armor was only 0.2 to 0.6 inches in thickness, so that was what I guess you'd, I don't know, I would call it a soft vehicle, because 50 cal could penetrate that. But usually the terminology, the term soft-sided vehicle is reserved for like Jeeps and trucks and stuff like that. This is actually, if you handed this to me and said it was die cast, I would have believed you at first, because it's kind of heavy for a plastic vehicle. It's very sturdy. And it, of course, has wheels on it. And let me flip it so you can get a look at the underside. You see it has wheels there. It shows that's made in China for CTS, Classic Toy Soldiers. And it comes with several soldiers that you see there. One of them firing the 30, one sitting with a rifle. But I recommend this for your collection, guys, because it's a very well-made vehicle, and the detail on it is pretty good, as you can see here. Is it blurring out, guys, or is that my vision that's blurring out? Between my vision and this camera, I'm not sure what we're getting here. I was looking at some other toy collecting sites, and I got kind of depressed, because I got to admit it, my videos aren't as good as those guys are doing. like Toy Soldier 68 and the collector guys. And anyway, I guess if I came into this project wanting to present quality vehicles, well, I do want to do that. Basically, what I'm doing is showing off or sharing. Actually, this is a more of a vanity project than it is one of quality. But you guys already know all that because you've seen what I do. I stumble, I stutter, and I don't use a script. I don't edit. I don't do all that fancy stuff. But I got to admit, it's much easier watching a uh, video that has smooth editing. So I apologize for that. But one of the reasons I haven't learned editing is because, I don't have a fancy pants camera, but also because I'm lazy. And I hate to admit that, but I am lazy. Anyway, that's what I got for you this time, guys. I'm sorry for that brief intermission there while I cried about how come my videos stink. Anyway, maybe I should join these guys and take a nap. That's enough. I've slept too much today. All right, guys. This is Iggy saying thank you for joining the Iggy Army. Thank you for getting Iggy with it. And I'll meet you at the Casbah. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah.